going to be, quite serious, but not too serious. We always try our best to make sure that we don't scare you out there and also make sure that we deliver the facts, which is of great importance to all of us. So, welcome once again to Panorama this morning.
Right. So there are so many things we would want to talk about, but taking center stage is our issue of the day is corruption. So for the opting time, funny as that may sound, but we're talking about corruption. Aren't you tired of talking about
I,
corruption in Nigeria?
well,
Because if you ask me, I'm already tired of talking about
Uh,
corruption.
Well, I really don't know what's going on. By the way, while I was trying to check out some things about our issue of the day for today, I remember the issue of Mago, the ex-EFCC boss, and voila, on the front page of Daily Sun this morning, ex-EFCC boss Mago will face trial if indicted. That is according to federal government. What federal government also says, police dealing with unknown gunmen in language they understand.
Did I get that story right? The story I saw a couple of days back saying he would be appointed. I mean, he's still in the police force, and he'll be appointed very soon as an AIG.
AIG. Oh, Jimmy.
Yeah, I
did.
saw.
Yeah.
I think I saw that story correct.
Yeah, you did. But now,
So now you're saying you want to
well, federal government is saying he will face trial if indicted. That means he's yet to get indicted. And that's been like how
but, but,
many months now?
but someone who is indicted, should that person still be in the service?
Oh,
I'm just wondering, someone who's already indicted by the federal government or by
well,
or by the FCC,
well, some people
should that
will
person
tell
should still be
you.
in government and be awaiting appointments
Some people will tell you that, well, you
or
remember the
promotion?
case of Maina, Maina, the issue of Maina, and him coming back to be, a civil servant again before the whole thing went up and federal government had to, sack him and his trial, what ended the trial and all that. So let's just keep our fingers crossed.
Well, let's get into it now this morning. In 2016, a former UK Prime Minister, David Cameron, in a conversation with the Queen of England, described Nigeria and Afghanistan as fantastically corrupt. Whilst you may want to criticize such a statement, growing evidence has confirmed this. In 2019, The Economist magazine revealed that about $582 billion has been stolen from Nigeria since its independence in 1960.
A deep dive into the $582 billion stolen shows that at least 11 trillion naira is said to have been diverted in the power sector alone since 1999, while 1.3 trillion naira public funds were reportedly laundered between 2011 and 2015. However, don't be hasty to think this year's under review exclude the Buhari-led administration, as various high level of corruption is also found therein. Just recently, the FCC made arrest of the Accountant General of the Federation, Mr. Ahmed Idris, for allegedly stealing 80 billion naira, and a former managing director of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, Nsima Ekere, over various corruption allegations starting from 2017.
Baffling it might be to some as the president getting into power rode on the campaign of fighting corruption, but the reverse is the case as graft seems to triumph. For our issue of the day, let's seek to understand why the Buhari-led administration looks to be losing the war against corruption. With us in the studio is, of course, a public affairs analyst and person of Ustaz Awwal. It's good to have you in the studio, Ustaz.
Good morning, Uzor. Good morning, Mariam.
Yeah.
Listeners, good morning to all of you.
Yeah. So the question I directed to Mariam, I want to direct the question to you right now. For the opt-in time, we are talking about corruption. Aren't you tired of talking about corruption? I mean, I believe you've spoken about corruption in Nigeria on various for platforms. So now again, we're in the studio again to talk about corruption in Nigeria.
Well, thank you so
How
much.
do you feel about it?
Thank you so much. I appreciate this. And I want to say thank you for having me. We won't stop having the issue of corruption in Nigeria. We won't stop discussing corruption in Nigeria because the sources of corruption is still there. The tree that is giving us the fruit of corruption is still there. How do I mean? Our system gives room for corruption, for corrupt practices. And as long as the system remains the way it is, we won't have a change. I mean that as it may. The real thing is, why has Buhari, in his regime, despite his campaign promises, been unable to stop corruption? Buhari came up with integrity. We all saw it in him. He was honest. We all saw it.
I mean, you can speak for yourself about that.
No. Record of Buhari, let's be honest, over time shows that he has integrity.
Okay.
Shows that he has been honest in everything you put him to do. Equally shows that he is sincere. Yes, subjective. The word sincerity might be subjective. But over time, looking at his antecedents, in all his postings, in all his dealings in public life, we have seen that we will not be able to trace anything to him in terms of maybe somebody being corrupted. And that is for public debate anyway. However, when you have those qualities that he has, and you are afflicted with incompetency, which is his problem, the impotency is the answer. And that's why he has the impotence. He lacks the competence. He has those qualities, but he lacks the competence. And unfortunately for him, he is not having the right kind of Nigerians to support him in executing his mantra, his main mantra, his campaign mantra. He couldn't, because people that were around him were people that understand the system, that owns the system, and want the system to work in their favor. There is no way Buhari will have succeeded, because the elite that owns the system are those that he needs to pick from to work with him. And that was the fundamental reason why he has become impotent. That is why he has not succeeded in his campaign, his main mantra, his main objective of fighting corruption. Being that as it may, what is in our system, that is the problem. I'll give an example using Idris, the Accountant General of the Federation. It's when you talk of auditing. In audit, financial expert will tell you, accountant will tell you, that when you talk of audit, we are talking of systematic examination of a system. System will be an institution, it could be a radio station, it could be anywhere, but an institution that has a system. And when they want to examine, for accountant, is a financial examination of the book. But they will tell you that they won't go there to just examine the books. They will say, examining the books and examining the operation of an institution, financially and otherwise. That was what we were taught in school. You understand? Now, the question, what does the otherwise mean? Otherwise means all the other codified laws that have been written by an institution that will guide its operation financially. I'm coming. If you have a problem with your system, with your sound here, and you bring in the sound engineer to examine why you're having, poor audio on the airway, you need not just to focus on the broadcaster, on the person that is talking. He needs to look at comprehensively all your system, everything that is going to help to promote or project, or amplify the voice of the person. But in Nigeria, when they audit our system, they only go there to examine the books and don't tell us what exactly is wrong. So the example of Idris, we need to look at how did Idris become the Accountant General of the Federation? Has he satisfied all the prerequisites that could make him to be there? If he did qualify, we need to ask a question. What does the law say about his tenure? For all you care to know, Idris is 62 now. He was born 25th November 1960. In other words, he ought to have retired 2 years ago. Why still in service? These are the kind of things I'm talking about. So when you suddenly jettison, the administrative protocol, the otherwise in your auditing, and just focus on the books alone, you have problem, because the books can be deceptive. How has he made his money? Should be the question. The Accountant General of the Federation, with so much power, whatever the executives are doing, he is in the position to implement. The budget allocations you see, the money they call, etc., that are going to the MDAs, ministry department, they are going there. The Accountant General is the one that will distribute. So it's like the valve, the gate pass, through which everybody takes their money. So what he does is a simple thing. If you as the ministry or MDA wants to take your money, which has been allocated for you in your budget, you need to let the accountant knows what percentage of that money will come back to him. Because he's the one that's releasing the physical cash. Whatever figure you have, is just figure in the budget. The person that implements the physical cash to your ministry, to your department, to your contractor, to all those things is the Accountant General of the Federation, the AGF. So he sits down and ensure that before they give you that money, something goes back to him. How does he do that? He is the one that will post directors to each of these MDAs. That is the accountant that will head each of the MDAs. That is coming a person that has been employed by government into the Accountant General's office. You understand? Now people are groomed as career officers. They are posted into ministries, departments. You know, when they are posted there, he is the one that will post them. And they are the gatekeepers of funds. And how money is spent in those places. It's a matter of, if I give you this, this one comes to me. For your information, whoever is not in the good books or does not sign or does not agree with the Accountant General of the Federation that he will align with this will not be posted, no matter how well pleased, how well qualified you are. And that was what happened with Tunji Tunsa. All of us have forgotten. I mean, Tijani Tunsa. Before he came in, he was supposed to be the Accountant General. It was because of the issues around his name that made him not to be given that. The FCC eventually swooped in on him. But, studies had did that. He eventually he changed into APC. And by going into APC, your sins will be forgiven. In inverted comma. That's what Nigeria believes in. The ruling party, etc. So it was covered. But that was the problem he had. He was formerly at the police affairs. And those were juicy departments for this affair. From then, he moved into Ministry of Water Resources as the accounting officer there. The posting from Accountant General, he was in charge of finance there. You understand? And that was how he made his money. Had so many properties all over the place, just like the President and Accountant General. So when we have such a system that operates like that nobody comes in to check, the check and balances does not come in, we have what we have on our hands. For your information, Idris is not a member of ICANN. He is a member of ANAN. So issues are coming up regarding even his qualification in the first place. So that is the kind of thing you have. When you decide not to pay attention to the otherwise. The otherwise in our terms, in the accounting terms, means apart from the money, apart from tracing the naira and kobo, what are the other procedures put in place? What are the administrative checks and balances put in place? Have they complied with it? So these are the issues we have. So ask a question. Why, as the presidency, felt that Ahmed Idris should still be there after attaining the required age 60, which he ought to have retired. He was not retired. And it's not just him. It's like that within the system. So once we have things like that, there is no way we can check or control corruption in such a system. And that's our problem.
Okay, so you talked about checking some other things, surrounding this issue. Now, let's take a look at these other things that we have left unchecked. If we are to go back, because you've taken us way back into so many things, if we are to go back, where did we go wrong in this issue of checking other things? When did we stop checking these other things, or we've never for once checked this other thing?
Thank you. Corruption has really been with us in Nigeria for a long time. The moment the Europeans left, corruption has been with us. But it's not as widespread as this. And all of us remember that Okoti Ebo was said he was the most corrupt politician in the first republic. It has always been there with us. People that have been put in charge of our money have always have reason, to do it here and now. But generally, politically, and a lot of students of history, and also even experts, when they do research, he said, we had this problem starting with Babangida. You see, before the regime of IBB, people were cautious. We are cautious teams. Nobody celebrates, stealing. Nobody celebrates corruption. But with IBB, it is a matter of give and take. Jekinje, that was the word they used. So everybody comes in, take your own, and find the way to do it. So they said IBB, brought about this issue, proliferation of corruption in Nigeria. That one can be used was with IBB. But then, even the system, everybody in the system now is corrupt. It has become a system of, if you cannot beat them, you join them. I ask a question. If somebody becomes, suddenly is appointed, if I'm appointed, for instance, or you're appointed, suddenly the governor felt, look, I love you are doing your job on the radio, come and become my commissioner for information. Everybody in your family will roll out the drum and start dancing. The question is, why have you done it? They will tell you because you have been asked to come and take your wish here. So that is the system. So when we talk of the system is not independent of the people. The value system of the people, that has been it. We read a lot of good stories about the past. We read stories about Tafawa Balewa. We read stories about, enough politicians that were before us. And we read how they were, their integrity, their honesty. They died, having nothing to their names apart from the money. We read the history of, Tafawa Balewa when his mother came to visit him in Lagos, and the Shagari then was his chief of staff. Used the presidential plane, to take the mother back to Kaduna. And he came and said, "Where is my mother?" They told, how did she go back? He said she went using the plane. And that one said, "Hi, the Prime Minister did not take that plane. Because I was not going for government duty. I was going for party function rather. That's why I did not go with the plane. You now have the audacity to take my mother with that plane." Okay, no problem. He was sacked. After a lot of pleading, he accepted, but he said he will pay back that money. And that money wasn't deducted from his money. The same thing happened to the premier of the Northern region then. Sadauno, the same thing happened to him. He wanted to enter the burial, and they told him, you cannot go with the state because it was not a state thing. Eventually, he went with it. When he came back, he was asked to pay back the money that was used to fly that plane to Sokoto from Kaduna. This were what we woke up to see in our system. So when did this suddenly went wrong? That was your question. It went wrong when the military came in saying they want to revive Nigeria, and they made corruption become a slogan on the street of Nigeria. So everybody is now corrupt, because when you don't have access to what is duly yours, what happens is you have a way to go about it. I will explain. A civil servant does not have what it takes to give his son or his child good and qualitative education in the public system that has been destroyed by civil servants. So he needs to get quality education for his child. The money he is being paid is not such that could make him to finance private school education. So for him to be able to sustain that, we need to steal. So when people's rights are not given to them, when what rightly belongs to people are not given to them, they circumvent, they look for a way to get it. And that is why today everybody is corrupt, because the system that was supposed to give us our rights, the quality thing that we deserve, is no longer producing that. So everybody is looking for a way out to circumvent and survive. And that is where the problem comes from. So for us to have a change, it means that all the institutions put in place to give us what is duly our own should be resuscitated and sustained.
So we quickly want to go on a break. Or when we come back, please you continue your line of thoughts. Stay with us. This is Panorama on Splash 106.7 FM.
Don't dare touch that dial. It's Splash, your integrity station.
Overjara no the bottle is plenty. Overjara no the dry pocket. Overjara no the way is plenty. If you want 8 times the value to flex, you see let people give you Overjara. Overjara, see the charge will give you Overjara. You deserve Overjara.
Get 8 times the value of any recharge plus double data and 1,000 Naira activation bonus when you buy a new SIM.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Hey children, it's time to celebrate you for Children's Day 2022.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
Children's Day happens every 27th of May each year, and as you know, Splash 106.7 FM, the integrity station, we set aside the day to allow children anchor our programs.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
To this end, there'll be an audition this Friday and Saturday, 20th and 21st of May 2022, 3 p.m. on Friday, 11 a.m. on Saturday. Do you feel you have what it takes to show the world your presentation skills? Be here at Splash 106.7 FM building, Kilometer 1, Abetu Junction, Abeokuta, Ogun State. The audition will be for English and Yoruba programs, and it's for children between the ages of 7 and 16 years.
kọ́kọ́ ẹ̀ ní o balẹ̀. tónílé tàlejò tó wọ̀lú Abẹ́òkúta. bí a ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ pé ibo ni ilé oúnjẹ ìgbàlódé táwọn ti lè jẹ oúnjẹ gidi. má dojú tì mí Olúwa fún. ńlá àwọn èèyàn ń júwe. kò lè má rí bẹ́ẹ̀. tọ́rọ̀jọ̀ wọn ti pẹ́ nínú káàtó oúnjẹ aládìídùn. àgbékalẹ̀ ọ̀tún. sílé oúnjẹ má dojú tì mí Olúwa gbé wọ̀. kò lẹ́lẹ́gbẹ́. bẹ́ẹ̀ni tẹ́bi òpàgán bá wọlé síbẹ̀. yóò fẹ́ jẹun níṣà. pẹ̀láwọ̀ fried rice àti jollof rice tó rẹ̀ dòdò nínú glass. wá jẹ̀mí lẹ̀fọ́ ẹlẹ́gùsí àtẹ̀fọ́ rírò wí. ewédú àti gbẹ̀gìrì ògbẹ́yìn. òkèlè lóríṣiríṣi. ajajaja àwọn catfish wẹ̀láwẹ̀lá. tilapia fish. ògúnfẹ̀ àti káwọ́mẹ̀tì rẹ̀ rí gidigidi. má dojú tì mí Olúwa foods. Do you want the best local or international dishes? We got you covered as we give you the best when it comes to indoor and outdoor catering services. We also have bar where you can get any drink of your choice. ẹ kàn sí wa lónìí. ní má dojú tì mí Olúwa food house. tó wà ní number 1 Abiola Way. má dojú tì mí junction. Abẹ́òkúta ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn. telephone 0806-522-6442. má dojú tì mí Olúwa foods. dishing out the best considering your budget. Ultimate Landmark Schools don't talk say dem don ready to make your dream of giving your child qualitative education a reality. CBM ìwé ọmọ tẹ́ ò kọ́ ní ògbélé tá a bá tó tàbúdọ̀la. We make education affordable, easy and attractive at Ultimate Landmark School. Our learning environment is conducive. We teach sciences, mathematics, English language and other core subjects. At Ultimate Landmark School, a government-approved school with WAEC and NECO accreditation. We also offer vocational skill acquisition. Admission is ongoing into all our classes. We are situated at 31 Lagos Road, Puri, Lafenwa, or at Oparatu Estate at Deun. Also at opposite Car Wash, Okeagbede, Lafenwa, Abẹ́òkúta. Telephone 0803-536-8194 or 0810-308-7154. Ultimate Landmark School. In God we trust.
Entrance examination comes up on 21st of May 2022 for the first batch, 25th of June 2022 for the second batch, and 28th of July 2022 for the third batch.
Don't dare touch that dial. It's Splash, your integrity station.
All right, welcome back to Panorama on Splash 106.7 FM. It's just 28 minutes after 9 a.m. and we still have more time to go on our issue of the day this morning on Panorama. And we have Ustaz Awwal in the studio with us, and he's been doing justice to the questions being asked. And before we went on the break, he was trying to ask questions about when this issue of corruption or the issue of not looking otherwise when it comes to auditing, when it comes to checking properly the kind of people we appoint into public offices, when did the issue of not checking properly, when did it, this issue, when did it go wrong? And that's what he was saying before we went on the break. So,
oh, thank you so much. Like I was saying, I said the system will keep on being corrupt because the value system of our people has become a very corrupt value system. And now that I said Babangida introduced IBB regime, brought about this problem for us, and everybody, became corrupt. The same thing will have happened to institutions like road safety, which we are experiencing now anyway. But when Wole Soyinka became the head of that service, he didn't take any money from there. He wanted to do it, and what he did there was to bring a lot of people of credibility. I remember Taisho was brought in for People's Bank, etc. A lot of things started happening. So that was where it started from. So for us to have a change in all this, we must have a system that works. We must have a system where there's quality education for everybody. You don't need to steal money to have quality education. Your child doesn't need to go to travel abroad. Look, large percentage, I don't want to put any figure to it because I can't verify that. Large percentage of civil servants, whether at state and federal level, have their kids outside Nigeria training. I want to ask you a question. Are they having the fund to train those children outside Nigeria from the salary they are earning? Simply no. So these are the issues. People that are put in position of controlling our funds in Nigeria have suddenly realized that it's a way for them to make a lot of money. And now, another question, why has it kept on being there? The politicians will come, they will liaise with, the technocrats. For instance, Ahmed Idris is not a politician. He's a career officer appointed into the place. He went through screening in the Senate. All the challenges that we're having now, the Senate did not see it. I don't know that you're getting it. Nobody raised any issue about his competency, about his qualification. There are people in the system that are being more qualified than him, but they didn't put them there. Now, these are the issues. Nobody looked into those areas. He has been there, like I said, since 2015. Now, the question now is, even when he was supposed to be retired, or to retire himself. He did not retire, and nobody thought he should be retired. So we're not talking of he's being suspended when he ought to have even left office 2 years ago. In a system that is saner, in a saner climb, what will have happened is that every income that has accrued to him since the day of retirement to date will be taken away from him with surcharge to pay back. But that won't happen in Nigeria. So that is the challenge we have. Unless and until we sit down seriously to look into our system and let the system work. There are a lot of check and balances that are in place, but people are not allowing to work, and that is where we have a problem. Nothing wrong with our documentation, nothing wrong with our system, nothing wrong with our guidelines. They are all working perfectly, but it is human being that will ensure we follow the rules. Those that will ensure we follow the rules are those that are suddenly not doing the job because they are beneficiary of the system.
Ustaz, I want to take you on one of the things you just said now, and you rightly said that there's nothing wrong with our system, but some would disagree with you. You also said earlier on that President Muhammadu Buhari came with good intentions, and maybe so, because IPPIS was one of the policies he brought in place, to curb corruption, to control corruption. BVN was also another policy he put in place to curb that. You also have the TSA, Treasury Single Accounts, as one of the policies also to, control corruption. But it does seem as though that has not prevented corruption. Recently, the ASU chairman, the ASU president, also spoke about the fact that, if you're saying that IPIS should curb corruption, why is it that, this man, the accountant general, is seen to siphon money? So don't you think that this policy is put in place by the president is sort of important? And if you think that way, why is that so? Why is that these policies are ineffective?
Thank you. You are still going by what I said earlier on, that it is the value system, it is the people that are the problem. There is nothing wrong with our system. Every item or tools that you have mentioned are tools of control in other climes of Nigeria and other climes of the world. IPPIS is just a tool, a program, a software to control how salary is paid, for us to know you are still alive or not alive, etc. So if it is not working in Nigeria, why is it not working in Nigeria? The Nigerian system is the Nigerian in us. That value system that has been corrupted is the one that is there now. You spoke about TSA, beautiful policy. Do you know because of TSA, Kemi Adeosun became a victim? It was working. And let me tell you, even in the university system, a lot of lecturers will tell you, academia, they will tell you that TSA happens one of the challenges the ASU did not want. When I say ASU in inverted commas, the VC don't want the TSA. Most of the head of parastatals don't want TSA. Because before the regime of TSA, they opened so many accounts. You were once a university student. You have an account where you're going to pay this money, another account you're going to pay that money, this account you pay that money. All these accounts were maintained by this head of the institution, the VCs, and the money goes into their pocket. So TSA is supposed to really curb, corruption. But if it is not curbing corruption, the question is how. Because people have learned that they can always circumvent. When it first came, everybody checked himself. But with time they studied and they realized, okay, this is where we have the flaw. And they started exploring the flaw. And that is the problem. BVN works in another part of the world. Biometric verification. Everybody. Why is it not working in Nigeria? It is because of the Nigerian in us. That's why whatever it is good, whatever is important, it's not working. There is nothing wrong with having, traffic light at junctions. But the traffic light will not stop a car. When it shows red, that it should stop. There is nothing in the traffic light that will hold a car not to go. It is the mentality of the driver that tells him to obey or disobey. So can we fault the traffic light? We can't, fault the traffic light. It is the people. And that's why I said we need to bring about a new orientation, a new value system. It's a value system that is even encouraging politicians to be corrupt, to steal money. Because they come into our community, they build these gigantic mansions, spend this money, proceed of corruption, and we say nothing about it. For God's sake, Ahmed has been caught to have built. Do you know that quite a number of the property in Abuja belongs to Tijani Tunsa? Go and verify. A number of property in Abuja belongs to Tijani Tunsa. Tijani Tunsa was just a civil servant. Where did he get that money from? But nobody's questioning that. The property are still there. He's still living large. So this is it. When people do things and we are not asking questions, they come to your street, come to your community and spend this process of corruption. I'm not asking questions. This is not asking questions. Idris have been there for 7 years. Are you saying that people just knew that he is doing this? Has there not been, tongue wagging about his attitude and his action? Have there been complaint within the department, within the ministry, the AGF office about him? Why is it that he kept on surviving up to now? Why? Idris was one of those that queried the investment of mortgage funds from public institutions into what do you call it? What do you call the people's finance houses, finance homes? I can't recall their names now. He was not that queried it, and the director, according to information news publication by Amadi, the former MD of NLC, he was questioned. How come after him, when he got there, the same thing kept on happening and nobody is questioning that? And that is the system. It's only until when you step on toes that somebody feels that you have to go. Ahmed Idris stepped on toes. Go to Kano. His story is agog. He stepped on toes, and that's why the FC have to start pursuing him. But they'll tell they've been running after him since. How do they need to wait till he accumulated this much before they could swoop in on him? So that's the system. Until people change their orientation, the value system, the issue of corruption will not stop in Nigeria. We won't stop discussing corruption. When I was coming, my daughter was telling me, what about the person that says stole 300 billion? I said, I have not heard about that one. Then somebody stole 300 billion. I said, I don't know about that one. So these are the issues. It will keep on happening. It will keep on happening because our system is conducive to corruption. That is just it.
All right. Since you're talking about the system being conducive to corruption, now let me use the word of the former EFCC boss, Ibrahim Magu, even though he's, battling his own. In 2019, he said, and I quote, "Indeed, corruption could kill Nigeria if we do not scale up our proficiency in contract and procurement management process." Now, let me use the story of Dasuki Gate to back up what he said. Dasuki was given $2 billion to procure arms for Nigeria. Also, the issue of Babashir Lawal in 2017, before he got sacked in October 30, 2017, he was, indicted by Senate, in 2016, December 2016. And his story also is got to do with $8 million fraud, which was supposed to be used for a particular project, which, according to the Senate, he took, he allegedly, decided to hold to himself. Also, the story of the former Director General, National Intelligence Agency, Ayo, who was sacked following controversy around $45 million cash for. Now, all these issues, take a look at what Ibrahim Magu said. Do you agree with what he said? And also, if we are having problem with our proficiency, we are having problem with contract and procurement management process, what do you think we can do to better this? Or do you can this government, this present administration, can they still do something to right the wrongs?
There is no government in Nigeria that will be able to implement the due process of procurement in Nigeria. I will repeat with emphasis. No government in Nigeria will be able to implement to a proficiency level the due process when it comes to procurement and contract management in Nigeria. Look, that is where people get their money from. I know what I'm talking about. That is where people get their money from. There is no government that will be able to implement due process. I have read the Due Process Act. As a person that's into contract, I know what the law says. I know some of the things that we need to do under due process. I knew as an NGO what government spent on training procurement officers all over the federation at state level, at federal level with MDAs. They spent a lot of money training them on due process on procurement. It has not worked because those things are just on paper. It will not work. If it works, then the senator that is saying he has a constituency project will not be able to award that contract to his prosy, to his person. That's what is happening. Look, I have a bitter experience. When they advertise in paper and they put all those clauses that you see there, it is for the uninitiated person. For those that are initiated, they have a way they go about it. The person will come, and the man, the House of Rep member, you understand, or whoever is there. Let me give you an experience. This is a personal one. We bidded for a contract under rural election project about 5-6 years ago. When Buhari just came, we had all the papers and we are pre-qualified. After we are pre-qualified, we are now asked to tender our commercials. I'm talking of the company that I manage. We are asked to present our commercial. We did be presenting our commercials. We traveled as far as Sokoto and one state again in the north, and Kogi, to look at the project, to look at what it needs. And we did our bidding, doing the drawing, doing everything, stating what we need to do. And we eventually put in our commercials. When they announced the commercials, our money was the lowest. Public announcement. But when they were not selected, and I said, why? They said, because we got the calculation wrong. I said, calculation wrong like how? We use Excel. And I went back to check, nothing. They said, no, that they had a training where there is a particular way the money will be calculated. We didn't follow that pattern. I don't know whether you get what I'm saying. So these are the kind of things I'm talking about. When suddenly people, look, I can quote names of those that told me that in the department. They are people, officers trained as procurement officers. They said there is a particular way we need to go about calculation and putting down our figures. We didn't do that way. I don't know why 2 + 2 will not equal 4 again. I use Excel, for God's sake, stating what we need to do. They said when they revalued and calculated, our figure jumped to became the highest. I never knew how that could be possible. So these are things I'm talking about. No government, as long as we operate this system, this political system we operate in Nigeria, no government can be able to get to a proficiency level in implementing our due process when it comes to procurement. That is where they make their money from, for God's sake. Look, the guy we met to be in Sokoto, the House of Members, told us that he has a contractor that will do that job. He told us, when my guy went there to do that inspection, we spoke with his PA. We couldn't speak with him. His PA said, Honorable already asked somebody that will do that job for him. What are you talking about due process and procurement? But this job was advertised in Nigerian newspapers. So if he knew somebody would do it for him, how come they advertise it? How did this person eventually got it? So it's just rules when they tell you this. No government, the way things are structured in Nigeria, will implement due process to a proficient level. No system in Nigeria financially will work with the way Nigeria is structured. That is where people get their money. And that's what I'm talking about. That's why I said, unless and until you start investigating the otherwise, when you do your auditing, not just the financial, the otherwise, you cannot get anywhere. You won't get a good result. And that is the challenge we have in Nigeria. That is why Idris Ahmed will become Accountant General of the Federation when he's not very qualified. That is why he remained the Accountant General of the Federation. When he also have retired, he did not retire. There are so many, 1,001 Ahmed Idris in our system who are due to have retired but did not retire. We also what happened to the former IG when they are playing games about it. And that is the problem. When we keep on using ethnic, tribal issue to put people in offices and not people that are qualified, this is what is going to end into it. So we cannot stop corruption. We'll keep on discussing corruption as long as we have this terrible system we are operating politically in Nigeria. And that is the truth.
All right. Let's open up the phone lines now, so you can get involved in the conversation. 0817 555 1067, 0817 444 1067, 0704 400 1067. You could also call us up on 070 50 50 1067. Good morning. Can you please turn down the volume on your radio set, please?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
I like you to good night, my name.
You have the floor. Go on.
Thank you, advantage. We love your representation. You say the right thing. We have been saying so that for this country to move forward, we need the full federality and resource control. You can't get it to anywhere where we have only the Accountant General for the Federation and Accountant General for the Federal. It is number one. Managing almost 800 agencies. Where do you want to get it? The duplication is here. Where do you want to get it moving forward? Unless we go back to the as you said, it is the military that put us in this place. Yes. Unless we change this constitution, is not nowhere to go. Nobody will fight corruption, control, and get to anywhere. Unless you have the full federalism and the don't control. Either the state will work on their own, don't their limits, not centralize everything. So that's the problem. And that's the way to
Thank you for calling Alaji 07044 400 1067 or you call 0817555 That's also our WhatsApp number. Turn down the volume on your radio set. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
I'm Joseph Onyebola from Ibarra.
All right, go ahead.
Thank God for our resource man there. He has done very well. What I just want to add is that during the military era, the same civil servants were handed over to Obasanjo. Obasanjo handed over it to Yar'Adua. Yar'Adua handed the same people to Jonathan. Jonathan handed over the same people to our present president, Buhari. Now,
try to call us back 07044 400 1067 0817555 1067. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Tajudeen from Magbon.
All right, go ahead.
Yes, I want to agree completely with our resource person this morning. Our system is not our major problem. It is we as Nigerians. We need to change our mentality, change our attitude towards certain things. Even when you look at it, I think the most corrupt entity in Nigeria is civil service. Just go to Kimosode, go and meet civil servants. There is a system in place, but these guys who always want to boycott the system in order to get their pockets filled up. So definitely, in fact, I love that example of the traffic light. That's just the perfect example. We need to change our mentality, change our attitude. He mentioned it back to Mohammed Babangida. That means that prior to the emergence of Babangida, there was a system in place. So it is the human nature, the kind of person, the mentality that he has, that he tries to imbibe in the system that make everything become what it is.
All right, thank you so much for your contribution. 0817 555 1067. That's also our WhatsApp number.
Oh,
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
Afolabi is my name. I'm calling from Abeokuta.
All right, go ahead, Afolabi.
Yes, to an extent, I want to agree with the first person. In fact, he understands the whole corruption system in this country. In as much as I agree with you, sir, I still want to say, yes, our value system is very poor. We so much have, we worship money. So, and that has, led us a lot of problems. But at the same time, I still want to emphasize that the system also is not right. It's bad. We don't have working system. Thank God you gave us an example of a due process. If you look at that example you gave to us, there are loopholes there. The loopholes are the problems associated with the system. And if these loopholes are not taken care of, we will continue to see good people that have the heart to do the good, but the system will not permit them. If you look at our law, for instance, it is just like we are having two kind of laws. One is unwritten, one is written. The unwritten one is meant for the elite. So it is still part of the system. Yesterday we talked about the judicial system. The system is not right. The human factor is also very bad, very wrong. So that is it. Unless we tackle the two, we cannot solve one. We just have to tackle the two.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much for your contribution. Let's see if we can sneak in one more call before we go on the first segment this morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Nicholas.
All right, Nicholas, you have to keep it short.
Your guest has spoken well, but I would like to disagree with him on bribery and integrity. Corruption started immediately the British left this country. From Unzogu to Inrosi to Gowon, who wasted billions like a sailor, to Muritala, Obasanjo. And Muritala died, unfortunately, to Obasanjo, ITT, and the Land Use Act, and the Operation Feed the Nation, which some called Obasanjo Farm of Nigeria. So the election that Obasanjo handed over to Shagari,
even though some people said Awolowo or Zik won. So Buhari was the first man to truncate a democracy and institute the reform. So even having a retroactive punishment that led to the death of some Nigerians and even the imprisonment of some of our finance journalists. If we were under Buhari in 85, you would have been picked up from that studio. So Babangida, who brought in 419, and some of his boys became governors in 1999. Then to OBJ, who came back, even though some people felt Falaye or Ekweme were more competent, and we now saw different Ghana must go journey. So Yar'Adua, who died innocently, and good luck, who some felt was clueless and opened the treasury like a dam that was not dammed. So corruption has been from the inception. On the corruption level, this is the worst in human history. We even have monkeys and snakes participating in the corruption.
All right, Nicholas, wrap up now, please. Oh, he's gone.
Sorry, let me just say this. Nicholas actually is right. I just said IBB brought about the institutionalization of corruption in Nigeria.
Right.
When the British left, the rest corruption traceable to her. But it was not as popular as this. It has become an institution now in Nigeria, and it was from IBB regime. But Nicholas is right. I agree with him.
All right, well, on that note, we have to say a big thank you to Ustaz Awwal for always, coming to our aid on the program.
Thank you so much for having me too.
Okay, so that's where we wrap up the first segment of Panorama, Splash 26.7 FM. Let's go on a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll move into the second segment and also get to your messages on social media. Please stay with us.
Splash FM 106.7.
gbogbo ọ̀nà irene níléeṣẹ́ àgbájọ homes and property Nigeria Limited àwọn ilẹ̀ wọn kọjá bẹ́ẹ̀ kẹ̀tíkẹ̀tí ló ń tà torí pé ó pọ̀ ju rẹ̀ lọ. ilẹ̀ ìbára orílẹ̀ kọ́pàpẹ́ àgbòdo 200,000 ní tẹ́lẹ̀ báyìí lórí promo wọn 100,000 lẹ́sàn. tẹ̀sí mọ̀ ní pé iléeṣẹ́ àgbájọ kò ní jẹ́ ta ilẹ̀ inú igbó láéláé. ilẹ̀ ń bẹ ní ìdíòrì onígangan òṣèlè kọ́pàpẹ́ ṣòdẹ̀kẹ̀tìtò bẹ́ẹ̀ sì nílé oko wọn igbó ọ̀rà ìbára orílẹ̀ ọ̀pẹ́jì 30,000 ní plọ̀tì kan bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ra plọ̀tì mẹ́ta ẹ gba ìdajì sí i ó sì jẹ́ ékalẹ̀ odidi lẹ́ẹ̀gbà sí i táwọn tí ó bá yín gbìnrín oko yín sì wà nílẹ̀ àwọn kan náà ni wọ́n bá yín tà á 39 NTA Road ọgbẹ́ Abẹ́òkúta 07044648338 07044648338 ẹ jẹ́ ká gbé ìgbésẹ̀ àtẹ̀mí àti àwọn ìsìn kọ̀ọ̀kan kù ogúnjọ́ oṣù tá a wà yìí láǹfààní.
Fakole Marale. Honey, must you go?
Babe, you know I must. Besides, you can always video call me.
Hey, what if your runs out?
I've got my power bank.
Hey, and when your power bank runs out?
Babe, I've got my laptop.
Okay, wait. What if your data runs out?
Babe, you know we never run out of data.
Never run out of data with Airtel Home Broadband Unlimited Ultra plans. Enjoy unlimited data with no speed cap plus extra data daily, so you never about running out. Visit www.airtel.com.ng/HBB to get started.
Babe, but I just left the house.
Yes, honey. It's video calling all the way.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
One na dey go sef, one na body go dey drive for stand upon say bike don scarce or people wey dey bus stop plenty. You can't wait so tey your appointment don pass. Make una mind the day cool. Akko Ride na better option for every corner wey dey Abeokuta as e big reach. No fear o. Anything wey be safety dey assured. On a ride go dey go serene. The riders plus the passengers dem get security wey tanda gidigba. Wait una still dey wait for. Go download the app on Google Play Store now. If na iOS, e still dey go immediately. Na 500 naira bonus go stand for on a happy bam. Akko Ride with shaking money on a go carry body reach the destination where on a mind gang. No dey waste time. Oya sharply join body for the website www.akkoride.ng. No come forget say on a go download the app on Google Play Store and iOS on a security data dagidiba. Akko Ride. Our riders them get identification helmet plus jacket we get number. Akko Ride. E dey safe, e dey secure, e still con dey affordable.
Ẹ paná ẹ̀, ó yá, ẹ tún kìkì ẹ̀, ẹ rèé sí ẹ̀.
ẹ má bínú ẹjẹ ń sáré yọsẹ̀ fún mọ́tò yìí. kí ló dé? ó dàbí wípé bátìrì ló ń yọ mí lẹ́nu.
àrè.
méjì bí yín bẹ́ńjì ni yín lẹ́nu.
tí bátìrì bá ń yọ ọkọ̀ lẹ́nu ẹ wàá mọ̀nà lè ṣe Adco Die Hard battery níbi tí wọ́n ti ń ta ojúlówó bátìrì mọ́tò.
ìkan náà ni gbogbo àwọn tó ń ta bátìrì ó ti sú mi.
padà Adco Die Hard battery tayọ àwọn ẹlẹgbẹ́ wọn nítorí bẹ́ẹ̀ mi díje ni gbogbo bátìrì téèyàn bá rà lọ́dọ̀ wọn. ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ báyìí nínú àwọn oníbàárà wọn ń dùn nítorí kò sí pé mọ́tò ń paná láàrin títì mọ́. kò sí irú bátìrì tẹ̀ ń wá tí ò sí lọ́dọ̀ wọn bíi 40 amps 60 amps 75 àti 100 amps battery lówó tí ò hàn. Adco Industries USA Nigeria Limited ló ṣe ojúlówó Adco Die Hard battery.
níbo wá ní iléeṣẹ́ Adco Die Hard battery wà báyìí.
wọ́n wà ní nọ́mbà 15 Oníkólóbó Abẹ́òkúta telephone
0703-928-5741 tàbí 0703-116-4983.
ó yá nìṣó níbẹ̀ kó lọ ra bátìrì ní kíákíá. Adco Die Hard battery ojúlówó gbà.
ẹ gbọ́ kí ni ìlépa tó ṣe kókó láti di ọlọ́rọ̀ tí ò lẹ́gbẹ́ láyé.
ètò ọ̀gbìn jẹ́ ìlépa tó ṣe kókó tó sì gbọ̀ngbọ́n nítorí pé nígbẹ̀yìn yóò yọrí sí ètò ọrọ̀ tí ò lẹ́jà ń bá kàn nínú ẹ̀kọ́ tó yè koro àti ìdùnnú. ilé-iṣẹ́ First January Agro Investment Limited ní kí n sọ fún yín pé òjò ti dé àsìkò iṣẹ́ ọ̀gbìn ti bẹ̀rẹ̀. ẹ̀yin àgbẹ̀ àròkọ bọ́dúndé àgbẹ̀ oníṣu àmọ́dún ilẹ̀ oko Flourish Garden ti ilé-iṣẹ́ First January ń tà lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí gan-an nílẹ̀ tó bá iṣẹ́ ọ̀gbìn tẹ́ fẹ́ ṣe yẹn mu. ìrìn ìṣẹ́jú mẹ́wàá ní Flourish Garden sí ọjà alábàtà 50,000 naira lẹ máa láǹfààní láti ra plọ̀tì kan dípò 100,000 naira tí wọ́n ń tà á tẹ́lẹ̀. ẹ tún máa láǹfààní láti gba raffle ticket láti lọ sílùú Dubai ní ìparí oṣù yìí. ogúnjọ́ oṣù karùn-ún ọdún yìí ní àǹfààní yìí máa wá sópin o. kàn sí wọn ní Ansarudeen House Quarry Road Pepsi Abẹ́òkúta tàbí kẹ́ pè 08165646535. bàbá ó ti dá níwájú ọ̀kadà yẹn ẹ páàkì ibà ìmọ̀ sọ̀kalẹ̀ bí.
ẹ farabalẹ̀ ẹ jẹ́ kí n páàkì dáadáa náà.
ẹ ṣàbẹ̀ mi ṣí bùtù kí n kó àwọn ẹrù mi bọ́lẹ̀ kúrò ní mọ́tò yìí. kálọ̀ wọn bá mi gbá àwọn ẹrù yìí. Túndé jọ̀ọ́ jẹ́ ká jọ káwọn ẹrù yìí wọlé.
ìyá àánú wá wàrà ní ẹ ibo ló ti rẹ́dùn èrò ọmọ tó pọ̀ tó yìí.
kí ni nǹkan náà.
àwìn ló máa jẹ́jà rẹ.
ẹyẹ kìí ṣe ká fi yín mọ̀nà. ìwọ náà tó lóyún ó jẹ́ tètè nìṣó ní the Ennis Global Covenant Baby Care. àwọn olóṣìlẹ̀kùn àǹfààní aláìlẹ́gbẹ́ sílẹ̀ fún gbogbo aláboyún pátápátá láti máa dá owó ẹrù ọmọ wọn díẹ̀díẹ̀ sọ́dọ̀ wọn. yálà ó ní o bàbá ń bẹ lọ́hùn ní o kódà ìyá tèmídìrẹ àti yaza náà. ibẹ̀ làwọn náà ti ra gbogbo ẹrù ọmọ wọn. ìṣirò ẹrù ọmọ tẹ́ fẹ́ tí ò sí ń bẹ̀ pẹ̀lú àǹfààní san díẹ̀díẹ̀ yìí. owó ọjà wọn ò tún wá hàn rárá. ó jẹ́ tètè nìṣó ní the Ennis Global Covenant Baby Care tó wà ní nọ́mbà 9 Oníkólóbó Road ládojúkọ Catholic Comprehensive High School lóníkólóbó lábẹ́òkúta. láti lọ jàǹfààní yìí a sì tún lè kún wọn sórí 0818-303-5977.
It's time to close shop on all the radio stations. The king is now in the city.
Thank you.
Welcome to Splash 106.7 FM Abeokuta.
Panorama.
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 Panorama on Splash 106.7 FM.
Welcome back. It's still Panorama on Splash 106.7 FM, the Integrity Station. 9:01 in the morning. And we're now into the second segment of Panorama. We'll call that From the Pages. But hey, before we do that, let's take a look at the messages we've got on socials. We've got a couple on Facebook as well as on WhatsApp. Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you want to take us through that, man?
All right, let's go to WhatsApp now. This one is saying, Morning House. My name is Ijaola Wali from Oloshu Estate. My question goes to the guest. Oh, sorry, he's no longer here. Don't you think reoccurring sickness of President Muhammad Buhari when he first attained office reduced his ambition toward Nigerians? Well, he's no longer here, but let's wait and see. Good morning, Splash and the whole of Nigeria. Akinwale is my name. Sending this from camp. When an elder is speaking and he's sweating, you should note that he's crying. Ustaz is speaking and I can feel his pain about the loss of the contract he bidded for. Isn't it disappointing that one would put in so much effort in this nation and get less for it, only to put in the same energy in another country and you would be so rewarded? The structure of this country is rigged against the growth of the nation itself. And this is because the country do not have a value of its own. If you stand for nothing, then you fall for everything. And this one is saying, good morning, Panorama crew. You're doing an exceptional job. I love the way the guests expatiate on the crucial bane of this country. God bless you, sir. It's a pity this country is wallowing in the mire of corruption and incapability of government powers, leading this country astray. Corruption can't be cut off except the mental attitude of we, the masses, change. We need to do away with the self-centered attitude of ours. I believe if we are to clean up a place, we need to sweep the debris a whole. So let's start from a bottom-up approach. If we are united in excellent attitude and morality, we will be able to get it right in this country. God bless Nigeria. Thank you. My name is Lawat Olokwe from Abiola Way. Thank you so much for that. And this one is saying, good morning, Mariam. Good morning, Uzor. Honestly, I agree with the speaker 100%. Our politicians know exactly what we want to hear. Most policies are just there for referrals when it's time to quote and talk their jargons. Corruption can never be eradicated in Nigeria as long as we have a people with corrupt mindset. Ask any young persons in our society what he or she wants to do if given the chance and leadership. The replies will shock you. Corruption has been and will always be unless our justice system are made strong to handle it without intimidation from anyone in power. Anu Olushola from Abeokuta. Thank you so much, Anu, for that. Good morning, Uzor. Good morning, Mariam. My submission this morning is the only thing that will end corruption in Nigeria is if Buhari is going in 2023. Let all the Senate and every member of House of Reps follows, and the ministers without this no remedy. Engineer Adetayo Adeniran from Abeokuta. Thank you. I am always disappointed when I hear analysts saying nobody asks questions. Is it not questions those of you in the studio are asking? Are some of the cerebral callers on diverse programs not asking questions? Will asking questions work in a country that has no value system when there is no system that will ensure the smooth working of policies, programs, and institutions by way of punishing those that are not making it work? Then, to me, there is no system yet. Olatunji from Obantogo, thank you for your contribution. And lastly, on WhatsApp, Niccolo Machiavelli, that great Italian political philosopher, told us that the first test of intelligence of the leader is to look at the menu who surrounded him or who surround him. Is it menu or men? Lacking competence and desiring public office is the height of corruption, irrespective of the volume of integrity. Nicholas is saying that I'm sure that was supposed to be men who surrounded. Thank you so much, Nicholas, for your contribution. But this one sneaked in. Good morning, Splash. I foresee a day when Ministry of Corruption will be established in this country. Akman SS is saying that, okay? Ministry of Corruption? Okay, so...
we saw something in Imo State a while back. I think, was it Commission of Happiness?
Of course, yes.
So
there's need for people to be happy.
So if that can happen, I mean, the Ministry of Corruption can just be instituted.
So everybody can just go there and take their share of the, beautiful cake of Nigeria.
Well, let's look at Facebook. You've gone through Facebook?
No, not yet.
Okay, so let's go through Facebook now. This one is from Eniton. Good morning to the anchors and the vibrant guests. One thing is certain. Nobody can single-handedly sit in an office and fight corruption because it is complex. And the cankerworm has eaten deep into our system. The solution to most of our problem in Nigeria is collective, that needs a collective solution from bottom to top. The day Nigeria agrees to stop corruption, that'll be the end of it. One vital thing that is vital is that our government should be proactive in making laws and policies to make stealing of public funds difficult for public office holders. Samson Abel, good morning, the presenters. I totally agree with you guys. Nothing wrong with our system in Nigeria, but the problem is our personalities. Our minds are corrupt. Before things can get better in Nigeria, we all need to have good personalities. And this one is from Olusheyi Ayodeji. Good morning, Panorama. Our great man in the studio said nothing wrong with our system. So many things are wrong with our system, and you have extensively atomized many. But though you are being diplomatic, one of it is the quota system. We have too many unqualified Northerners in the Nigerian governing body, yet quota system prevails. My take, if we can be allowed to go our separate ways, the Yoruba adage says, man, I can say that.
Oh, let me look for
yes,
it.
please.
Olomu Adomu Iyegbe.
Okay. The name Nigeria is fade away. Nothing is working. Continue our prophecies, and what you have is Nigeria was once upon a time, and Nigeria never happened to you. Thank you very much for your comments right there on Facebook. And let's now look at the headlines we have in front of us from the Nigerian dailies. I have with me Nigerian Tribune.
And I've got Daily Sun this morning.
This one takes the spotlight. Primaries, APC, PDP in states quake. Page 8, you can find it on page 8 of Nigerian Tribune. About 3 riders to that. Aspirants adamant over zoning arrangement. Rumpus over delegates lists. That's from Obaseki. All B camps feud over different court orders. Aspirant protest in Benue, Plateau, Ogun, Ondo, Kaduna. Uncertainty in Anambra APC. This story you can find on page 19 of Nigerian Tribune. Tamboa blames Jonathan over failure to restructure Nigeria. Page 11 of Nigerian Tribune, IPOB Delta places security agencies on red alert. Page 28, FCT Minister closes day-day market indefinitely, 4 confirmed dead. Page 11, newly promoted Magu has already retired. Police Affairs Minister. I mean, this is quite conflicting because Dinyadi, the Minister of Police Affairs, I mean, came out.
Police Affairs, yes.
Yes, I mean, came out to say that, despite the fact that he's still serving, he wouldn't be exempt from prosecution. But now the Police Affairs Minister, another report says that he has already retired. But we'll talk about that later on. Newly promoted Magu has already retired. Page 11, Police Affairs Minister. Community policing on course, he says. Page 29 of Nigerian Tribune. Okada ban, June 1 deadline won't stop enforcement. It's coming from the Lagos government. Oshumpol, I have no money for private jets or to buy votes. Oyetola, a rider to that, I am endowed with the capacity to lead, he says. Lastly, still on the front page of Nigerian Tribune, how I was drafted into presidential race. Lawan. Nigerians shouldn't, a rider to that one, Nigerians shouldn't dismiss me as northern candidate, he argues. That's about it on the front page of Nigerian Tribune.
All right, let's go now to Daily Sun. Police burst government's shrine. Others in Imo capture live python ammunition. Protest rocks Abia community over kidnappings, killings by gunmen. That's on page 4. The big story on the front page of Daily Sun this morning. Buhari unsettles APC aspirants. President, it's got 2 riders. President's silence, non-show of preference so far leave contenders in quandary. Tiers of consensus option heighten on page 6. Seated home, Delta government advises IPOP to adopt other means of agitation. That's on page 27. It's got a rider, and the rider is saying pro-Biafra group advises Pastor Komoyi against Abia crusade. Reps urge Buhari to sign amended electoral act to avert political crisis. On page 8, the rider on that one is saying Supreme Court joins River State in Buhari Malami suit, shifts hearing to May 26th. Ex-EFCC boss Mago will face trial if indicted, says federal government. According to federal government as well, police dealing with on in language they understand. Security operatives destroy 167 illegal refineries arrest 18 alleged oil thieves in Niger Delta. On page 5, Nigeria can overcome security challenges in 2 years with right leader, says Obasanjo. Soludo laments 120 billion naira debt in Anambra. And also, on page 26, we've commenced full implementation of community policing. That is according to Police Affairs Minister. Those are the headlines on the front page of Daily Sun this morning. So let's dive into some of the headlines.
To make sense of this headlines is Eddie Aino. He's a public affairs analyst. Top of the morning to you, Eddie. It's good to have you in the studio.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Okay.
Good morning, Miriam.
Good morning, sir.
So help me make sense of this particular headline, and let's clear the air on it. 4 days ago, on Monday, the PSC, the Police Service Commission, they promoted former acting chairman of the EFCC, Ibrahim Magu, to AIG, and now the Minister of Police Affairs, Megari Dinyadi, has now disclosed that this man who is newly promoted has already retired. I mean, this is quite conflicting. I don't know, because if he's retired, how would the Police Service Commission then promote him to AIG?
No, well, it can happen. It depends on when he ought to have been promoted and when the promotion exercise took place.
Right.
So it's possible in service. You know, there are people who were promoted after they retired, after they left office, because the promotion was left in abeyance. And when the time for the interview, took place, they will invite him. It's normal, but let's just leave. It's normal. It's normal. It happens, in service. But what is surprising about the story is the fact that all of them that are served as chairman, the individuals who had served in that capacity, had left office under mysterious circumstances. In fact, most of them, despite the fact that they did a lot, for that office, they had left office in a somewhat shameful manner, and none of them left out of his or her own volition.
Right.
Even the first chairman left under mysterious circumstances. They told him, to go to Kuru Jos, for a course. That was what they used for him, to get him out of that place. The second person, Mrs. Farida Waziri, also left under that circumstance. In fact, Farida Waziri's case was open because according to the testimony she gave after leaving office, she said, well, I had problem with the president. There was a case. Some of these people who benefited from the subsidy, on petroleum, then the president told him, he's our member, leave him now. And she said she wasn't going to. She was going to pursue the case to a logical conclusion, and she was booted out. Then the next person, Ibrahim Lamode, suffered the same fate. He was asked to leave office, and posted, outside that EFCC, and thereafter was promoted AIG and all that. But the point I'm making is that position is very sensitive. Recall that Magu, attempted to have that of. In fact, the president wanted him to. Even the vice president who acted for him wanted him to be confirmed, but he wasn't confirmed because one way or the other he must have stepped on so many toes. It's a very dangerous office, dangerous in quote, in the sense that there is no way you want to face corruption cases that you will not step on important people's toes, prominent people in the society. And in Nigeria, some people are above the law, some are below the law. Most of us, the 99% of us are below the law.
This is the second time I'm hearing that.
Stepping on toes.
Stepping on toes.
I don't know why they are not taking away their toes from where people will step on it.
Yeah, because the law is the law and we must enforce the law. But in enforcing the law, some people are well placed that when you pursue their case to a logical conclusion, it's like, why are you doing this to our man? And Nigeria, when you talk of ethnicity, regionalism, nepotism and what have you, it places a lot of part, in our own situation that we are in now, because people are not straightforward, and especially rich people don't get punished, for corruption. For instance, there have been so many cases. The last two, the Darie and the bishop, that were left off the hook, who already was serving, jail terms. Not only that, even if you look at this woman from Edo, the owner of Guardian, Ibru, Cecilia Ibru. In fact, she served her, prison terms in the hospital. So when you look at so many cases, Uzor Kalu, many like that. In fact, even at the National Assembly, now there are so many cases there who have not been prosecuted. Even the national chairman of APC, Adamu, was governor in Nasarawa State for 8 years, has a case with EFCC. So how do you, in fact, this man, the former comrade, Comrade Adamu Siomale said, please come to our party, and your sins will be forgiven. So, and that thing has been playing out. There are so many cases. There was this guy in NNPC, who's the former GMD of NNPC.
Mekanti Baru?
No, not even Baru has not even been in the picture. This one, I've just forgotten his name now. Now he made a lot of money, and he stored the money in a house in Kaduna with AC, different denominations, the French francs, and the dollars, euros, pound sterling, and all that. But the sister gave him up. The sister needed some money to send his son to school, and he said, I don't have money. And he said, okay, you don't have money. And that was the period of blowing the whistle, whistle blowing, and she blew the whistle. They now left him off the hook after some to say, okay, the EFCC didn't pursue the case properly. And can you imagine billions of naira? I mean, when you change the money, it's so terrible. So when you step on people's toes, when you attempt to touch the untouchables, that's what you get. And I don't see who is, even this Bawa, he has to be very careful. He's a young guy, 40, maybe 41 now, 42, but I don't see how he's going to, because that has been the pattern, that has been the structure in that place. Some people will not like what you do, and they want to fail. So that's why I'm a bit worried about that. But the promotion, I mean, they must, so that you can sleep on something, get something out of after having meritoriously, in quotes, served the nation. He has to have something, to fall back on.
All right, let's go to this story, really. This one is on the front page of Daily Sun. Nigeria can overcome security challenges in 2 years with the right leader. That is according to former President Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. He said this yesterday. He said Nigeria's security challenges could be resolved within 2 years with the right person willing to take tough decisions at the helm of leadership. He said what Nigeria required a visionary, passionate and innovative leader who also has adequate knowledge about the challenges confronting the country. Now, this is something that we've been saying for years. Coming now again from former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Do you think that we can actually get that right leader with the level of, insecurity we have in the country right now?
Well, we must give it to former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Yes, he has some past or some deeds, in the past that will not endear you to him. But he has been the only voice, one of the few voices that have been trying to analyze this country, dissect it, and offer, solutions. Because this one he has again added to it shows that the man is passionate about Nigeria. Yes, in the past he had taken he has positions, he had made some policies that probably went against what he's saying. But at the moment, because he was talking to one of the aspirants yesterday, and the Ayatu, and he said, look, I look at you and I look at myself. I don't have any other country to go to. But to fix this country, it can be done within 2 years, provided that person has knowledge. What does he mean by knowledge? Knowledge of what is happening at the moment. Knowledge of history. When there is a Yoruba adage, when a young man falls down, he looks at the front. When an elderly person falls down, he looks at the back. Where have I gone wrong? That's what the elderly, what has made me to fall down. But unfortunately in Nigeria, we have leaders who don't talk truth to authority. And Obasanjo is not like that. He has been talking truth to authority. He is saying he must have knowledge. Those of them, yes, some of them have knowledge of what has been happening in Nigeria, but they don't have vision. And he's saying, what is vision? Vision is, even if you are blind, you must have somewhere you're going. For instance, you cannot build something on nothing. We have not built anything in this country. Look at economy. You are talking of economy. You are talking of religion. You are talking. Look, I read a piece which really put me off this morning about Matawali and Tambua. And Tambua wants to be president. They didn't pay for WASC of their pupils, their school pupils. But that's Samfara and Sokoto. They didn't pay. They are owing WAEC, and WAEC did not allow them to send in. And this is Tambua that had built 89 mosques. This is Tambua that has been giving money about because he wants to be president. What vision will you attribute to that person? Or Matawale, where you have children running to thousands cannot write WAEC because they cannot progress. So that's what he's talking about. He's talking of mission. So many of our leaders don't have mission. They don't have where they are going. Because if they have where they are going, they will not be prosecuting this election like this. When you have ASU on strike, so many things that are happening. And it's talking about innovation. Most of the things we are doing in this country, we are not innovative about them. Some other countries focus on, there is elite consensus amongst them. This is where we are. We are elite. Forget about partisanship. Go bipartisan. America yesterday voted to give more money to Ukraine. And it was bipartisan. Because one, it's American interests they are protecting. It's NATO interests they are protecting. So when they have to come together, they come together. But our own leaders here don't have that trait. They don't have that. They have not exhibited that characteristics. And that's why we are where we are today. Look, in so many other countries, for instance, they have not even zoned anything. Whereas that has been protecting this country, that has protected this federation. Well, are we in the federation? That's debatable. That's protected this country up to the stage we are in now. When you have the president from the south, this time around, you have the chairman from the north. Started with Akinloye and Shagari and all that. It's been helping. But now they are saying it should be the north. That is where you can have the person who can lead this country. And experience has shown that even when Southerners or Northerners headed this country, nothing has happened to their people significantly. So that's what Obasanjo is talking about. I think I agree with him this time around. It can be resolved. But do we have leaders who have the character, they have the knowledge, they have the vision, they have the mission, and they are innovative enough? That's the question.
Or do those leaders have the touch of madness?
The touch of madness, that is it. Passion, he says.
Well, we'll come back, we'll talk. Yeah. We'll come about that.
All right, let's go on a quick break. We'll be right back.
Flash FM 106.7.
Overjara no the body, it's plenty. Overjara no the dry pocket. Overjara no the way, it's plenty. If you want 8 times, the value to flex. You will give you Overjara. Enter Overjara. Once you recharge, we will give you Overjara. You deserve Overjara.
Get 8 times the value of any recharge plus double data and 1,000 Naira activation bonus when you buy a new SIM.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Oh, irú ìdààmú wo leléyìí pàápàá.
Wo ibẹ̀ ni ojókòó sí kó má béèrè ìbéèrè tí ò ní túmọ̀. Dípò kó pa wọ́n. Mélòó ló ti pa báyìí?
Ení, èjì. Ó dàbí pé mo ti pa 5.
Èmi tí mo ti pa bí 20. Ó mà dàbí pé a ti pa gbogbo wọn.
Alóṣèkéyọ̀ kan. Ẹ wo ibẹ̀ yẹn ló wà. Mo ti rí lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ ibùsùn ọmọ mi.
Ẹ̀fọn mélòó ló fẹ́ pa? Ìwọ ló máa rẹ̀ gbẹ̀yìn. Ọ̀nà tó dájú jùlọ láti sáfẹ̀fọn àti láti dènà àrùn ibà ni sísùn sínú àwọn apẹ̀fọn lálaalẹ́ kó o sì rí dájú pé kò sí omi tó dárógún lágbègbè ẹ torí pé ibẹ̀ làwọn ẹ̀fọn pamọ́ sí. Ẹ jọ̀wọ́ ẹ̀yin aláboyún ẹ má fi ìtọ́jú oyún ṣeré o torí ọmọ tó ń bọ̀ láyé tẹ́ ò bá fẹ́ ní àrùn ibà ó kù sọ́wọ́ yín o. Darapọ̀ mọ́ ìpolongo àrùn ibà pòfó bẹ̀rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú mi nílẹ̀ Nàìjíríà ká lè jọ dẹ́kun àrùn ibà láti ní orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà tí kò ní àrùn ibà kó ipa tirẹ̀. Ìkéde yìí wá látọ̀dọ̀ ìjọba àpapọ̀ ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà pẹ̀lú àjọṣepọ̀ àwọn àjọ tó ń gbógun ti àrùn ibà.
Abeokuta, congratulations, yo! Hospitality industry leader, don't land the bar. for Abeokuta. Yes, ke Academy Suit. The Babala Hotel Wetanda for Ibadan. The cultural capital of Yoruba land. Don't open for Abeokuta Academy Suit. Una home away from home hotel. We get the Obonga comfort for we customer. Plus include leisure with proper cleanliness. Na Academy Suit to get arm. Plus include Olympic size swimming pool with security na watertight for our restaurant. You go Baladu Continental and the local food with the checkele money. Everything about Academy Suit na quality with unbeatable low price. To confirm waiting at the talkie. Forward to match now to Academy Suit. Went and Dagidiba beside Abadia Central Mosque. MKO Abiola Way Abeokuta. Abikukuma they call this number 0817 6666 6601. Academy Suit na home away from home.
ABR ọ̀rẹ́ àgbẹ̀ àbísúyọ lóko bọ̀ pàdé wọ́n ní ẹ ò gbọ́dọ̀ kárí ẹ̀ lórí ìgbọ̀ ọ̀tún pàápàá àǹfààní tó gbọ́mọpọ̀ dáadáa ilẹ̀ oko mọ́lọ́gẹ̀dẹ̀ orílẹ̀ lùgùn ọlọ́run dá 25,000 ní plọ̀tì báyìí ẹ ra plọ̀tì mẹ́ta kẹ́ẹ̀gbá ìdajì sí i bó sì jẹ́ éèkà lẹ́ra ẹ gba plọ̀tì kan sí i ilẹ̀ àgbẹ̀ kọ́bápá alábàtà ọ̀pẹ́jì 30,000 per plot bẹ́ẹ̀ bára plọ̀tì mẹ́ta ìdajì lẹ́gbà sí i bó sì jẹ́ éèkà lẹ́ra ẹ ó gbòdìdì kan sí i àwọn onírà ti wà nílẹ̀ láti ra èrè oko yìí 39 NTA Road ọgbẹ̀ Abẹ́òkúta 08033706236 08033706236 ABR ọ̀rẹ́ àgbẹ̀ àbísúyọ lóko pọ̀kọ̀ ìgbọ̀tún fáwọn àgbẹ̀ àǹfààní yóò pin lógúnjọ́ oṣù táwọn.
Oh my God, I never believed until I have mine on. Wow. What a befitting sewing. All thanks to Vive Clothiers. Apart from this party outfit, oríṣiríṣi aṣọ ní tún bẹ lọ́dọ̀ wọn tó bára ẹni mu rẹ́gí bí ẹni pé wọ́n bí mọ́ni ni. Vive Clothiers tún ṣètò customized clothes. Ẹ lè mú aṣọ wá kí abayín dára sí tàbí kábayín rà á ká parí iṣẹ́ tiwa sí la. Àwa kì í yẹ àdéhùn lórí iṣẹ́ wa. No delay. We sell both ready to wear and custom orders. With Vive Clothiers, enjoy 10% discount on all our products. Kò sí aṣọ age, size tàbí gender tí ó wà available lọ́dọ̀ wa. We offer quality fashionable styles from our choice of fabrics to the finest of finishing. They are all affordable. To enjoy or purchase yours, just walking into the shop, 3rd floor, Glory House, number 30, Adato Road, Isaliaki Abeokuta. Or you order online through phone call or WhatsApp message 090-3987-8244 080-6789-1075 on Instagram at Vive Clothiers. Offer valid till end of May. Vive Clothiers, affordable and befitting.
Splash FM 106.7.
Panorama.
Panorama. Panorama.
Panorama.
Panorama.
Panorama on Splash 106.7 FM.
You're still on to Panorama on Splash 106.7 FM, and we'll still have with us Eddie, I know, who's a public affairs analyst, and we're still looking at the headlines from the dailies. And I have this one here. I quickly want you, Eddie, to talk on this, talk about this. Tambuwal blames Jonathan for not restructuring Nigeria. I'm reading this because you spoke about Tambuwal earlier.
Yeah.
Right. So Tambuwal blames Jonathan for not restructuring Nigeria before handing over. Your thoughts on this, quickly?
You see, it's easy to pass the buck. But if you see even the body language of the president, his argument initially was what happens to the 2014 confab, where there are about 906 resolutions. He said, well, the composition was irregularly done, and we can't do anything about it. Whereas, if they are taking steps, to at least use aspects of it. But the reason Tambuwal is talking about GEJ is because some people are worried that even the ones that he didn't need to take to the National Assembly, he didn't take it. Some of them are administrative. He didn't touch it because maybe he was afraid of the next election. So it's part of it. But it's easy to pass the buck. He was part of APC. He was APC governor because he left APC before he left APC. And APC has this restructuring. There was the El-Rufai committee that was set up. Restructuring is part of it. What has happened to it now? They are in the twilight of living there. So it's just talking. I mean, it's just talking the word restructuring. Restructuring. So in fact, they start asking ambivalent questions. Define restructuring. Are you talking of financial restructuring? It's restructuring is restructuring. Restructure. What is here now is not working. Make it work. Like other countries that have made it. You'd go to the Netherlands. Netherlands has the same problems that we have now. They had it, but they decided, the elites there, they decided to come together to say, okay, we are 7, let's rotate it. One person, primus inter pares, one person will be president at any point in time, by prime minister. Then the remaining 6 will be holding different positions: Minister of Agriculture, Minister of Finance, Minister of Economy, Minister of whatever. And that's how that country has been running. That's how the country has been run, because the elites come together. The elites come together. Canada, there is this problem of Quebec. Quebec was planning to, resist, just leave the union. Okay, secede. And he said, no, don't go. What's the problem? He said, language. Okay, 4 languages. Let's make these 4 languages national languages. And Quebec came back to it, and that country everybody is running to Canada now. But because our elites don't want to shift ground, they want to stay where they think they are having the upper hand, and that's what is happening. Tambua is talking. I mean, it's one of them. It's one of the political elites. You have economic elites, you have political elites, you have traditional elites. Those of them, they are the people who are not making Nigeria to work.
Okay.
Even Atiku is now talking of restructuring. We hear restructure, even if he gets there, they won't do it, because they will look at the northern notion, northern issue, northern angle to it. What happens to me? What happens to our region? They are not looking at that nation, that nationality, that will benefit 220 million Nigerians. No. And if we don't do it, if we don't restructure, God save our lives, things won't work.
All right, let's go to this story on page 8 of the Daily Sun newspaper. And the headline is saying 2023 Reps Caucus task Buhari on amended Electoral Act. And, the minority caucus in the House of Representatives has charged President Muhammadu Buhari to sign the amendment to the Electoral Act passed last week by the chambers of the National Assembly. And also, there is another one under that particular headline. Is saying that the Supreme Court has granted the application by the Rivers States to be joined as part in the suit. President Muhammadu Buhari and the Attorney General of the Federation filed to void Section 84, subsection 12 of the Electoral Act. I don't know why we keep going on this.
But back and forth.
The 84 subsection 12, it's not like it's rocket science or something that you cannot achieve.
You see, when you have people in places who are not transparent, it's issue of transparency and honesty. Initially, the tussle between the governors and the members of the National Assembly, they believe that the governors shortchange them. The governors are the overall, when the president needs appointment, they make the appointment. When anything is happening at the federal level, they corner it to their own detriment. And that was the reason why this section 812 came about, to say, okay, we'll do it. We are lawmakers. And the law, the section 12 is saying you cannot be in government without resigning, and you want to contest election and go and be voted for. But in doing so, they even hit themselves on the foot. Why? They forgot to mention that there will be statutory delegates. When they now remember that they will be affected, they won't be able to vote at the convention, at the coming primaries. They now hurriedly, within one day, the second day, House of Reps too did it, and they gave it to the president. But the president is looking at a bigger picture. Although Shehu Sani said the president is looking at the legal implications, but that's not it alone. The president is looking at the issue of, if I sign it, there are, out of the 25 APC aspirants, there are people there who are stronger, who have governors backing them. They have House of Representatives members backing them, senators backing them, across the board, across the states. So if I sign this and I allow statutory delegates, it may go to the person that I don't want to succeed me. It's a conjecture. I'm not saying that is it, but that is a possibility. If I sign it now, more people, these delegates, these statutory delegates, will go and vote for somebody, because we have been seeing it. People who support Tinubu all over this, governors, everybody, Oshibaju and all the rest of them. Whereas there are people in the fringe, who just, we don't call them pretenders, but there are people, they want to rule this country. They are there, but they don't have that kind of influence. They don't have governors supporting them. They don't have senators, House of Reps members who being their, sponsors and all that. So the problem is when you allow these delegates thing, statutory delegates, you are talking of president, vice president, all local government councillors and chairmen and what, even 6 in Abuja and all that. You can imagine if those ones vote for an individual. So what they have now is 2,223 delegates, or 2,233 delegates if the president refuses to sign it. But if he does, it will now be 7,888. So it may go to where he doesn't like. But I'm not saying he may sign it in the final analysis after the the manipulation, after the alignment and realignment of forces and all that. Towards the election.
President Buhari, through his aide, Onoche, has actually said that he will congratulate any party that wins 2023 presidency, so he doesn't mind.
No, he doesn't mind. He has nothing to lose. The man is done with the job. He has done with Nigeria, or he's done with Nigeria. So whoever comes here, Moriba, what's this? No.
Okay, let's look at also one more story before we open up the phone lines. And this one is close to home. Okada ban, June 1 deadline won't stop enforcement. Again, some have said that if you were to ban the Okada riders in Lagos State, wouldn't you also have influx of the Okada men in Okada riders in Ogun State?
No, in fact, Kwara is already crying. In fact, Kwara had met yesterday to say, okay, how do we prepare for these guys that are likely to come? Because Kwara is also contiguous. There is geographical propinquity between Ogun, Lagos, Kwara. So what you do to these guys, they will carry their machines. We are expecting them. No. I mean, jokes apart. They will first of all get to Moe and all the rest. And before they know it, they are here already. So they are kings. Yes, of course. They are kinsmen who are already here from Makodi, from Benue, from everywhere, from Maiduguri. We call them. Okay, please come and come. No, by now I'm sure they are in Ogun State. If care is, no, I'm serious. If care is not taken, and the danger is what the people in Lekki, they painted the picture. The way they ride, very reckless. They break people's legs, and we see it here too. In fact, one broke my car lights at the back. I just please go. I went into my car and. Because before you know it, and he doesn't even hear any language, it comes from there. Before you know it, he will have phoned his people and they damage him or they wound you, they have daggers and all that. So that's the situation we have found ourselves. They are so reckless. And the number is massive. The number is massive. They can intimidate you anywhere. And they constitute danger. People say because of job, must others export their job here? What I know they export, countries export, which is good, is football. Brazil exports youth to other countries to go and help their economy, help themselves, help their economy, help sports, help people laugh and prolong their lives. But here in Nigeria, people who don't read the marginaries, you export them to other areas. And our governors are not doing anything. It's only this man that I respect a lot, Akeredolu. In fact, last week, he employed another 300 Amotekun. And that's the entry to Southwest. Yes, so they caught some buses with ammunition car and guns and all. That's about 2 months ago. They had that intelligence and they stopped them. If you see the kind of daggers that I saw inside there and guns. So So what if you don't have an Akeredolu? They are brought in this long the long trailers and what have you. I mean, I'm not saying other people cannot come to Ogun State or elsewhere. We can migrate, no problem. But you have to be a positive migrate, somebody that will add value to that state you are going. Not problem, not surrounding. When did we even get to this Okada business? I grew up. Sorry.
Let's.
I mean, you did mention importing and all that. Maybe we can import, Amotekun from Ondo State if possible.
Yeah, why not? Why not? In fact, that's the reason why Amotekun is a regional thing.
Why should we? No, why should we?
It's a regional thing. We can.
But I also thought Amotekun is.
But we have in Ogun State too.
Yeah,
but maybe what we need to do in Ogun State is to be more vigilant. Yes, and spend more money. Spend money on Amotekun. We need them. Mm-hmm. In fact, it's surprising that even members of the National Assembly, especially the House of Reps, that voted 14-11 to reject state police during the fifth alteration of the Constitution, are now talking of state police. Wike mentioned it yesterday. Do people think it's a...
Well, they mentioned it yesterday as well, that they've commenced full implementation of community policing.
There should be else nowhere in the world. There are 60 million people in Britain. They have 44 different policing systems. Except America, in fact, you can't count the number. Up to bridges, you have police there. What is wrong with us as a people?
0817-555-1067. 0817-444-1067. 070-5050-1067. Talk to us this morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Nicholas from Abibita.
All right, go ahead.
And Dr. Daniel, good morning. I like the way you said even me said too. So let me also say Maybe you don't need Christina Amanpo to leave CNN to tell you that the Okada riders in Lagos are already in Abeokuta in the past 2 days. It is a well-known fact. On the issue of Lawal, from primary anatomy, Lawal is a northern Muslim politician. So it shouldn't tell us it should be seen as a Nigerian. The primary profiling of Ahmed Lawal is he is a northern Muslim politician who is interested in the northernization policy. There's something called the northernization policy in Nigeria. I can forgive the post-Facebook Gen Zs for not knowing what it means. But my era and above, there's something called the northernization policy. On the issue of this Okada riders, it's an idea, when we opened our borders and told the whole world that they can come from anywhere, including Sutadalon and the Limpopo River, and arrive with that and get a passport or arrival. Did we think that Chad, Niger, Senegal, Burkina Faso gave us their doctors, their lawyers, their pilots, and their architects? I don't know why some of these things surprise us, and it appears as if it's just new. Secondly, you gave it to Obasanjo. I agree with you. He was vocal even from the Gowon days. Even when he was to be arrested on treason and he could run to London, he came back and showed some courage. But every parent has a merit and a demerit. The people of OG can't give it to him. The people of Zakibiam can't give it to him. The people of Abigo's widow can't give it to him. Maurice Ibekwe can't give it to him. Even the Kuti family can't give it to him. Ibeto can't give it to him. But let's not go there. And I think the man you are trying to remember his name was Andrew Yakubu. So you can see if Andrew Yakubu cannot help his own biological sister, then you can imagine the way these men think. They only help them when they have something they can get from them. And there's some things a sister cannot give his brother. So you can imagine the problem that we are facing. But sometimes when I look at the fact that the people who cause this problem for us are less than 500,000, let me be gracious enough to say that they are a million. That again, a million divided by 200 million is 0.005%. So one significant figure is 0. So I think the Nigerian followership has shown some docility, I think we need to copy the Sri Lankans. On football, after you mentioned football, I want to appreciate myself for predicting clearly that Chelsea will lose the FA Cup final. And appreciate all Liverpool fans on earth, especially my dad, and Bola Tito Gureni. And also appreciate all true Milan fans because we will carry the league on Sunday, despite those who have still remained Milan fans even in our dark era. That is the quality of...
Thank you, Nicholas. Thank you, Nicholas.
Thank you for your contribution this morning. 0704 467. Don't forget, you can also reach out to us on WhatsApp and also on Twitter. On Twitter, don't forget to use hashtag Panorama and Splash. On WhatsApp, 0817551067. Hello, good morning. Turn down the volume on your radio set. Hello.
SFM.
Good morning. What's your name?
My name is Aru Jolu, calling from Abeokuta.
All right, go ahead.
One idea I know just said something casually, but I don't see him to be a flippant fellow. He must have meant it and it scared me. He said the man Buhari is done with Nigeria. Good day.
All right. Thank you so much for being precise and straight to the point. Well, on WhatsApp, real quick, if we as a nation can repent, corruption will surely go. Reverend Zachariah Olubayo Tanigbola from Wasimi saying that this morning. And this one is saying Tambua blaming Jonathan for not restructuring Nigeria shows a high level of hypocrisy. Wasn't Tambua part of that government? Hypocrite. On the issue of corruption in Nigeria, both the system and the people are to blame. We don't have system in Nigeria, and that, okay, let's see who is there. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Ayo Adizua from Abeokuta. Good morning to the veteran in the house.
Good morning.
I have a particular question because both in the first session of the program and the second session, a word that kept coming up, which is our value system. And this value system transcends levels of or cadres of people in the society, even up to the primary school, not just among the adults. So if this is the situation, and we have continued to breed this terrible value system over the years, and we kept saying that we need to change our value system, how do we change our value system in the level of decadence that we have? That is the question I have for the veteran. It's something that bothers me. Thank you very much.
All right. So, Eddie, in 1 minute, the question.
Value system. Yes, I mean, it's at the superstructure of virtually everything in any country. Once your value system drops, then everything drops. And that's why we have, these yahoo boys, killings everywhere, inability to speak truth to authority, then our inability to do the right thing, to do the needful at any point in time, giving some other variables, that are not, that you cannot even have a hang on. I mean, variable like this is where I come from, this person is my brother, is my friend, is my this and that. And that's the reason why the country, meritocracy, even all these issues we are talking about, zoning and all that, there are some countries, they don't look at it because they have reached that stage. But in Nigeria, we have not attained that stage where you can now say, let merit. Merit can come from anywhere. There are very many, in fact, those in the north, there are some of them, those of them that know mathematics, they are fantastic, or medicine. So it's not as if any region, has a monopoly of merit or brain or whatever. But because we want to hold on to something perpetually. So yes, our value system has dropped drastically. Even people who want to contest election and are finding it difficult to, to come out and buy form, and they say, Uzor and Co bought for me, Mariam. But whereas you brought out the money from your pocket, yes, or got the money somewhere.
So the
That's part of our business.
Asking now, since our value system has actually dropped, what can we do to, correct it, to bring it back?
Some leaders in the past attempted it. Under Obasanjo, even this PMB, they are the first set of people to warn in discipline. Has been there all along. But as soon as he left office, that war in discipline, why? Went down. Value, ethical value thing. If I think Shagari too tried it, the ethical values and all that, reorientating our values. It has not worked, because much as we are trying to reorientate ourselves, the situation of individuals in the society, what we have done with them by way of education, like the example I cited, the problem we have in this country, this banditry kidnapping you are talking about, is because of lack of education. I do not see any of my children involved in it, because they have children, they have good job.
Okay, so we have to go, but let me finish this particular one from Olajuwel on WhatsApp. He said, we don't have system in Nigeria, and that is the reason why we are clamoring for restructuring and constructional overhauling. This bastardized federal system we are practicing, coupled with our confused constitution, cannot take us to El Dorado. As regards Deeper Life Crusade in Abia, reason should prevail, except God said otherwise to the man of God. Olajuwel, thank you so much for your contribution on the program this morning. Abiola from Adigbe, we did, get your message, but our time is fast spent and we've got to go on the program this morning. Many thanks to everyone that joined us, and also let's say a big thank you to Sir Eddie. I know.
Thanks,
I think somebody Professor.
You're doing facts.
Thank you, Eddie, for coming to
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
Okay, Panorama will return again on Monday. Lola Mediteni and Boyga Olani will take you on that ride. My name is Uzor Adizua. Please stay safe and stay out of trouble.
And I am Mariam Ogunremi. Do have a great weekend. Bye for now.